was hard. I tell you, that Dragonborn comes.
Miserable. Just miserable. Don't like it. I hate it. Every day it's the same thing. We open the shop, we hardly sell a thing, we close the shop and go to sleep. What kind of a life is that? Oh, believe me, I'd be on the first ship off this miserable island if I could. But I'm not sure I could do that to my father. I think it would break his heart. We've already lost my mother. I don't want to leave him alone. We lived in a settlement, perhaps a league from the border of Black Marsh, the homeland of the Argonians. Even though the Argonian invasion ended a long time ago, there are still a few scale-skinned clans that live within our borders. To put it simply, they attacked our settlement and slaughtered almost everyone. It was horrible. Keep yourself safe. Solstheim's still a dangerous place. Here in his shrine.
That they have forgotten. Here do we toil, that we might remember. Here we reclaim. What faithless minds have stolen. Far from ourselves. He grows ever near to us.
Your eyes.
That seems
once
inadvisable.
were
Oh, fascinating. By touching the stone, you appear to have fallen under whatever influence is affecting
Your
the other.
hands once were idle.
And when the world shall listen,
I wonder how
And
long
when
this effect
the
will
world
last.
shall see.
Perhaps it is permanent, as with the others.
that world will cease to be.
Here in my shrine.
That would be a shame. You are an interesting exception.
That you
Otherwise,
have
universal
forgotten.
phenomenon.
That we might remember.
Can you hear me?
Here
Ah,
you
so you are
reclaim.
able to resist the effect by exerting your will. Fascinating. You there. You don't seem to be in quite the same state as the others
Far
here.
from ourselves.
Very interesting. May I ask what it is you're doing
Grows
here?
ever near to us.
Mirek. It sounds familiar, and yet I can't quite place... Oh, wait, I recall. That makes very little sense. Mirek's been dead for thousands of years. I'm not sure, but it is fascinating, isn't it? Perhaps it has some relation to what's going on here. Quite unexpected. I'm afraid I can't give you any answers, but there are ruins of an ancient temple of Mirax toward the center of the island. If I were you, I'd look
When
there.
the world shall listen.
Building something, clearly.
When the
And
world
yet they
shall
don't seem
see.
to have much to say about it. I'm very interested to find out what happens when they finish. Certainly not. Doing so would interfere with whatever is going on, and I would be unable to see. how this all turns out. When the city of Vivec was destroyed, it took decades for us to rebuild. We are still but a shadow of our glorious past, but someday we will rise again. It's the homeland of the Dunmer. The lesser races call us Dark Elves. We built great works there, like Vivec and Aldrune. Many of them are destroyed now, either by Red Mountain or the Argonian invasion. You are too young to remember the Nerevari. He defeated Dagoth-Ur and saved us all from the Blight. The ignorant think it is only a place of ash and lava. It has rolling green plains and swamps and verdant hills, too. Red Mountain dominates the island. Every now and then, ash and debris from an eruption land on our shores. There is the big island of Ardenfell and the coastal mainland. House Telvanni has its properties on Vardenfell. I've never been to the mainland myself. It is the only place where silt striders can be found. Although I managed to transplant a few here when I arrived. That's that, then.
And when the world shall see.
And when the world remembers.
That world will cease to be.
Oh, hello. You looking for a handout or something? Next time, then.
You lost? My husband Vendel feared visitors would shun Raven Rock. I'm glad to see he was mistaken. May your path be free from
Vendel
danger.
Severin. A pleasure to meet you, Sario. Pleasant journey,
With you.
Sam.
Do you want to ruin everything?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm here to do a job, and that's it.
I've seen the way you look at her. Do you take me for a fool?
Look, dearest, what I do on my own time is my business. You stick to your business, and we'll both be fine.
Always nice. Mirak. I'm sure I've heard that name before. Haven't I? Was it in a dream? May your path be free from danger.
Always glad to help, Sario. What can I do for you? Pleasant journey, Sario.
wrong with you? Do you want to ruin everything?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm here to do a job, and that's it.
I've seen the way you look at her. Do you take me for a fool?
You stick to your business.
You haven't seen Crucius Corellius, have you? That foolish old man's taken my pickaxe again. No, this isn't just your run-of-the-mill pickaxe. I'm talking about an ancient Nordic pickaxe. They don't exactly grow on trees, you know. I prefer to handle these things on my own. Look, if you see Crucius, tell him to give me that pickaxe back, and I'll pay you for the trouble. A fine question, and the one that I hear most often from visitors to our town. I wish I had a more romantic tale to tell, but I was simply seeking my fortune and chose Raven Rock to ply my trade. Besides, knowing how to repair bone mold armor wasn't very useful in Riften. I had a friend over there, a dark elf named Van Ryth, a very talented armorsmith. Spent a lot of time with the guy swapping smithing techniques. Learned a heck of a lot, including how to repair bone mold. After he moved on to greener pastures, I decided to pack up, move out here, and put those lessons to the test. Been here ever since. Blades, helmets, pretty much anything to suit your needs. It's the only tool tough enough to crack Stalrim, is what it is. Not many of those beauties left in the world. Forging them is a lost art. The one Cresius borrowed came from the Skull village up north. I, traded them some goods for it. Calling Stalrim an ore is like calling my forge a campfire. Some folks say it's enchanted ice, but I think there's more to it than that. I don't think I've come across more than a chunk or two in my lifetime, and smithing's my trade. If you're looking to learn more, you should head over to the Skull village. Someone there's bound to know more about it than I do. You tell Cresius he better give that pickaxe back to me, or else.
My husband Bendel feared visitors would shun Raven Rock. I'm glad to see he was mistaken. May your
I'll give you this warning only once. Stay out of my way, and we'll do just fine.
Fight well. Want to buy anything, or just laugh at our misfortunes? Mining gear? No. However, I used to sell East Empire pendants until I ran out of them. Popular little item. It's an amulet that was made exclusively for the East Empire Company. They gave them to their workers as an incentive at one point, a kind of reward for extra effort. They're no longer being made, so they've become a collectible. I'd love to get my hands on a few of them. They could be anywhere on the island. The mines might be a good place to start. If you find any while you're exploring Solstheim, bring them here, and I'll pay you for them.
Can't get blood from a stone. As it is, we barely make ends meet.
Bad? What if I told you that you're the first person that's even considered looking at my wares today? I've half a mind to contact my friends at the East Empire Company and see if they need an extra hand in Windhelm. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've corresponded with Vittoria Vici herself more than once. You know, the lady who runs the East Empire Company warehouse in Solitude. The biggest warehouse they have in Skyrim. Ah, you're just like the rest of the folks around here. Mark my words. The East Empire Company will return to Raven Rock, and when they do, I'll be at the top of their list. The question you should be asking is, what don't I sell here? Because I have pretty much any supplies you might need. If it's not a weapon, potion, or armor, then it's likely that I have it. Jarland, over at the docks, brings me most of my supplies, and the rest comes from bartering with the people in town. Oh, Glover Mallory gets me a few things once in a while. He usually has the most amazing deals that I can't pass up. I think I maybe had a dream about someone with that name. It was very strange. Was I building something? A shrine down on the beach near the Earthstone? I'm not sure. See for yourself. The East Empire pendants are scattered all over, so leave no stone unturned.
My husband Bendel feared visitors would shun Raven.
Looking for any potions? Ingredients? Alchemical supplies? Yes, I'm proud to say that I grow or harvest most of it myself. I only wish I had a better source for netch jelly. Those creatures are difficult to track down since it's so dangerous beyond the bulwark. That would be splendid. I'd be more than happy to give you something for the effort. After we left Morrowind, we found ourselves in Skyrim. We wandered around a bit and ended up in Morthal, where we took up temporary residence with Lani, the town's alchemist. I was fascinated by her work, And over a period of a few years, she taught me quite a bit. It wasn't long before we became homesick. We were the only Dunmer in Morthal. When word reached us that a settlement of Dunmer was forming on Solstein, we were thrilled. It's been difficult, but I'm not regretting it one bit. In fact, I'm glad we've been able to stay and help. Ah, so you're an alchemist then? As you can imagine, the eruption of the Red Mountain took an awful toll on Solstein. Hunting for game has been scarce, and the waters are apparently too tainted for fishing. According to Councillor Morvain, my husband's been Raven Rock's most important food source for decades. Careful with those netches. They may look tame, but they can seriously hurt you when threatened.
Welcome to Raven Rock, traveler. Could I... The Dunmer have been growing food in the Ashlands for thousands of years. It was born out of the necessity to survive in the harsh climate of our homeland. And now, with the constant eruptions of the Red Mountain, it's more important than ever. No, only the Telvanni have the ability to weave living growth from the ash. This simply takes the right ingredients, the right tools, and a lot of patience. Just got some of my merchandise off the latest supply ship. See if anything strikes your fancy. Next time you're hungry, stop by. I always have plenty of food for sale.
Misery? I'll give you misery. Try getting assigned to scrape netch scum off the front of the bulwark. Keep moving.
Let me know if you want anything. Welcome to the Rutching Netch Corner Club, milady. If you need anything, Master Geldis will be up here.
Teldrin Cerro, blade for hire. If you have the coin, I'm at your service. Then let's be off. Right behind you.
Welcome to the Retching Netch Corner Club, home of the finest Sioux jammer that will ever grace your lips.
My last patron was killed trying to tackle an entire fort of bandits alone.
Watch yourself out there. Looks like an ash storm might be brewing.
I grew up in the city of Blacklight in Morrowind. If you ever get the chance, you should visit there. It's spectacular.
Welcome to the wretched net. Let's sate that appetite, hmm? There's actually a funny story behind the name, friend. A few years ago, I was walking down by the docks, and I noticed a Dunmer staggering along with a bottle of Sujamma in hand. He was one of my patrons and liked to drink heavily, so I wasn't exactly surprised. Ah, but you see, this particular Dunmer was as naked as the day he was born, and singing badly at the top of his lungs. As I'm watching this spectacle, a netch floats over the bulwark towards him. The man looks straight up at the netch, yells, "Have a drink," and tosses the bottle. And it never hit the ground. Well, the bottle broke on the netch, and it must have swallowed its contents because it started floating sort of tilted. Finally, it stopped and began to quiver. A few moments later, the foulest liquid to ever assail your nostrils spewed from its maw. I've seen plenty of drunks in me day, and I'll tell you right now, that netch was sick. True story, friend. True story. Take a look. The Redoran Guard have spotted a pack of werewolves in the mountains. The hunters up on Frostmoon Crag might know more. I heard crazy old Cressius has been sneaking in the Raven Rock mine again. At his age, he's going to get himself killed in there. If you've got gold on your hands, you might talk to Rallis of the Colbjorn Barrow. I've heard he wants to excavate the place. Haven't heard anything lately. Check back with me. You never know. The finest Sujamma to cross your lips, friend. My own personal formula that I call Zadri's Sujamma. In fact, I've just added some new ingredients to the mixture that I think makes it taste better than ever. All I need to do is get the word out that it's ready, and they'll flock here for it.
If you ever get the chance,
I was kind of hoping you'd say that.
It's spectacular.
Here, take these samples of the Sujamma and spread the word. If you get rid of all of them, there's something extra in it for you.
I work for Mokril. You got a problem, you talk to him.
I'll give you this warning only once. Stay out of my way. Take that swill and pour it down a well. All right, then.
Just remember who's in charge around here.
Want to buy anything? Or just... Geldis needs to bottle this up and send it to the mainland instead of wasting his time out here. His drinks are outstanding. Thanks. The East Empire pendants are scattered all over, so leave no stone.
Welcome to Raven Rock, traveler. Always a pleasure to taste anything Geldis comes up with. Next time you're hungry, stop by. I always have.
Looking for any potions? I should mix some of this into my next potion. Who knows what would happen? Careful with those netches. They may look tame.
Find my pickaxe yet? Perfect. I was just thinking about heading over for a drink. Thanks for saving me the trip. You tell Crushes he better give that pickaxe back to me, or else.
You look able to bend.
I trust you're not planning any trouble. What can I do for you, Fred?
As the wife to the second counselor of Raven Rock, it would be my pleasure to help you any way that I can. Oh, how kind. Thank Geldis for me, won't you? A few months ago, I had sent an important folio to the first edition bookshop in the Imperial City to be rebound. They sent it back to me recently, but it never arrived. Yes, the Strident Squall, or something like that. The damn thing sunk right off the coast of Solstheim. Can you imagine? One of the sailors survived. Poor thing crawled all the way to Raven Rock on his hands and knees. Before he died, he told the Redoran Guard about the wreck, and warned us that he was going to be crawling with reavers. Thank you. You have no idea how much it hurts losing such a precious heirloom. My husband is second counselor, so I certainly have the means to reward you if you find my folio. May I have a word with you, counselor?
Of course, Sindiri. What troubles you?
I was concerned about our food stores. Jalan can only carry so much on each journey, and I'm afraid we might run out.
I'll speak with Garen and see if we can't increase the crop production this season. Sorry, Sindiri. I fear we'll be feasting on ash yams a bit more often this year. On behalf of House Redoran and as Counselor of Raven Rock, I bid you welcome. Good old Geldis is always managing to keep our spirits up, and our eyesight hazy. Thank you. You've never heard of House Redoran? We're the mightiest of the great houses, and we lead the Council, the ruling body of Morrowind. This isn't Skyrim, Outlander. A group of powerful and influential Dunmer families have been ruling Morrowind for millennia. They embody a council made up of 5 great houses: Telvanni, Dres, Indoril, Sadras, and Redoran. Well, of course, with 4 other houses on the council, someone has to keep the rabble organized. Our house leads the council by virtue of our preeminence in battle, wisdom, and ancestral glory. Yes, I imagine it would to someone not of our people. If you're interested in pursuing the subject, help yourself to any of the historical volumes in my library.
It's this island. It's never felt the
Solstheim is theoretically under my rule, but without revenue from the mine, I lack the resources to actually govern anything but Raven Rock itself. Not that there's much beyond the confines of our town anyway. Well, there's a small enclave of Nords to the north in Skarl village. They pretty much keep to themselves, and we both like it that way. Then there's Tel Mithrin to the east. The Telvanni live out there. Sort of a strange lot. But since we're both from Morrowind, we get along. Other than that, Solstheim is crawling with bandits and weaklings. But that's to be expected living in a frontier like this. It used to be one of the richest ebony mines in Morrowind, but it dried out years ago. Now, we're barely holding out here, Without the mine, Raven Rock doesn't feel like it can last much longer. My doors are open if you wish to discuss
Your
matters.
visit here will be tolerated as long as you abide by our laws. Otherwise, you'll answer to the Reverend Guard. What? Oh, no, thank you. I need to keep my head clear. Remember, we're watching you.
What's our next move? Lead
I'm
on!
afraid there's been another ash spawn attack at the bulwark.
As if we didn't have enough to contend with already. How many did we lose this time?
Fortunately, none. Captain Veleth was able to drive them off almost single-handedly.
I don't know what we'd do without him.
Be careful.
Damn it, woman. I said to leave me be.
Cretius, last time you explored the mine, you almost fell to your death. I'm not spending the rest of my days as a widow.
And I'm telling you that I'll do whatever it takes to find my great-grandfather's remains. He's down here. I can feel it.
That was almost 2 centuries ago. There may be nothing left to find.
Just let me go, woman.
Cretius, you're an obstinate old fool, and you're going to get yourself killed. My apologies for Cretius's ravings. Oh, that sounds lovely. Thank you. That foolish old man thinks he's 30 years younger than he is. He's going to get himself killed traipsing around the mine. He's convinced himself that there's some sort of conspiracy involving the East Empire Company and the mine's closure. We came across some old letters that belonged to his great-grandfather in our house, and he believes every word written in them. Cretius's great-grandfather worked for the East Empire Company. The letters mention some sort of discovery he was sent to investigate. There's really nothing remarkable in the letters. I don't know what he's so excited about. Gratian Corellius. He was an explorer for the East Empire Company. They'd send him all over Tamriel when they had difficulties in a mining operation. Poor man. Can you imagine doing all that dangerous work just to end up dying at your own doorstep? There was a horrible accident, and he was killed when one of the tunnels collapsed. They were never even able to go down there and recover the body. The East Empire Company sealed that section off to prevent any more tragedies. Cretius is convinced it's a story cooked up by the company to cover up something else, but I don't know. My beloved is almost 80 years old, and I think the shock of finding one of his ancestors' things has left his mind a bit confused. I love him dearly, and I support everything he does. But I can't let him chase this silly idea, or he may end up joining Gratian in a rocky grave. To understand how we met one another, you have to appreciate what he's going through. Cretius is a third-generation miner. All his life, he's lived and breathed nothing else. By the time Cretius came of age, the ebony mine in Raven Rock was shut down. He took that quite hard. Our home has been in his family for over 200 years. Leaving would have been like abandoning precious memories. Instead, he stayed on Solstheim and spent most of his life prospecting for a new ebony source. Sadly, it never surfaced. A decade ago, this drove him into a deep depression. He shut himself inside his home and refused to come out. It was after refusing to allow anyone to bring him food, Councillor Morvain ordered his door to be knocked down before Cretius starved to death. I was a temple priest at the time, and they had me use my healing arts to restore strength to his ailing body. I stayed for a while and cared for him, then I suppose we fell in love. Gratian Corellius. He was an explorer for the East Empire Company. Poor man. Can you imagine? There was a they were never even... Cretius is convinced. My beloved. I love him dearly, and I support him. Far from it. In fact, I'm no longer welcome there. In all honesty, it came down to a disagreement between what I believe and what Elder Othraloth believes. I'd prefer not to get into the details, but let's just say our opinions about the current status of the Tribunal vary widely. Be careful out there.
Who in the blazes are you? Can't you see I'm busy? Why should I tell you? I don't even know who you are. Exploring, huh? Most folks think this place isn't worth the effort. But mark my words, these mines hold a secret that could put Raven Rock back on the map.
Hopefully you won't mind.
A secret the East Empire Company swept under the rug 2 centuries ago. It killed my great-grandfather and left Raven Rock with a worthless and tainted mine. Gratian Corellius. He spent his entire life exploring ancient ruins across Tamriel, and he died in these very mines almost 200 years ago. The East Empire Company called it a terrible accident, claiming that he was lost in a rockfall, but I know better. My wife and I were cleaning out our home, and we came across some of my great-grandfather's things locked in an old chest. I found an unsent letter he'd written to the East Empire Company, and a key. It describes a discovery that was made in the mine by some of the diggers. They wanted Gratian to take a closer look. The East Empire Company must have felt it was of great value, as they locked that section of the mine off from everyone else. It is. Well, I assume it is. I haven't been able to find the entrance. Now you're starting to sound like everyone else. I'm telling you, there's something big down there. Something that the East Empire Company wanted to hide from everyone. Look, my wife nags that I'm too old to go traipsing around these mines chasing my story. Time's my enemy. It's caught up with me before I could find the answers that I'm looking for. I do. I want to know what happened to Gratian, and what the East Empire Company's keeping from all of us. Gratian kept a journal of notes about his discoveries. If you can find his remains, I'm hoping it will help. Here's everything I have. The letter, the key. Please, do this for me, so I can finally regain the respect that I've lost.